Bonfire is currently in early access, and we already get a press key to check this one out. And what we have here is another attempt at trying to make more of that combination of a roguelike and a roguelite. And I was liking what I was seeing here. The general concept is that the world is coming to an end, and it's up to our brave adventurers here to figure out what is going on and try to fight back against looks like very cute little zombies or ghouls right there. But the first thing that you'll probably notice is that the UI is very streamlined, and I want to give developers special praise for that, because it's a great example of minimizing a UI to make it easy for everybody to learn. The general concept of the gameplay is that each character you have access to has 3 actions, one for clicking on themselves, one for an ally, and one for an enemy. And each person in your party has explicit roles to play, as well as special abilities and upgrades that they get. Now the footage you're seeing at the moment has only 2 characters in the party, but an actual or a normal party in the game is made up of 3. At the moment when we played this game, we only had access to the initial 3 characters, but the game definitely hints at unlocking more characters and giving you more options to build a party around. For the 3 that we have on screen now, the lady in the middle is our tank, who can also be used to guard another character. The monk at the bottom can heal as well as provide armor penetration, and the lady at the top gains additional damage based on charging up her spell, indicated by the number of orbs surrounding her. And this is very important, as each map that you play on has a number of basically rooms, and you saw that little indicator at the top of the screen. As you go through, you'll get different events, sometimes you'll find treasures, or you'll get into battle with enemies. The overall goal of a playthrough is to figure out what is going on with the world and make it to the big bad and stop them. And the game gives you multiple quests to pursue, as well as bonus objectives and resources to go after. Your main limitations are going to be injuries and food. After each battle, you return to, well, I guess the titular Bonfire here, where you'll be able to rest up, eat food, and plan out your next mission. And the more, or the further you get into the game, the harder the challenges will become, as well as requiring more resources to kind of stand a chance. And you're able to upgrade characters by spending or on getting them more resolve through combat, as well as finding special upgrade and merchants on the map itself. Now, the quote-unquote map that you're seeing on the screen shows different regions, and in a similar sense to something like FTL, each region basically lets you stay in it as long as you want, and then you can move on to the next. Again, you have overall objectives, as well as finding new characters and new services that you can explore or make use of in future plays, or on future parts of the playthrough. Now, like I said a second ago, food is your main limiter, and if you do not have enough food to feed your characters, they may revolt and leave your party. You also need food in order for characters to rest and heal up. If a character runs out of health on a battle, they'll become wounded and have less of a health total for the next battle. And the only way to recover is to have them rest and obviously consume food for that day. And as with a lot of games, or a lot of roguelike style games, this can lead to either that positive feedback loop or the downward spiral effect if you're not careful. But unlike traditional roguelikes, it doesn't feel like you can easily fail in this one. Like we said, you keep going until you completely run out of food and resources, and the game definitely gives you a lot of opportunities to bounce back, as well as upgrade characters. Now, with that said, from what we played on early access, there's definitely a lot to like about with Bonfire, but it's going to remain to be seen if kind of more of a long form a playthrough will work for this kind of game, and especially the persistence that they've been hinting at. And we're going to talk about that next, but first, a quick shout out to our current Game Wisdom supporters and sponsors. And now for a quick shout out to our current Game Wisdom supporters and sponsors. Going forward, all Patreon supporters will get early access to our videos. And if you'd like to continue this discussion on game design, be sure to check out our Discord channel, linked down below. If you're looking for more wisdom about game design, be sure to check out my latest offering of books, 20 Essential Games to Study, aimed for first-time developers and students looking for some inspiration for their upcoming games, and Game Design Deep Dive Platformers if you're interested in anything regarding 2D and 3D platforming design. They're both available in print, digital, and wherever books are being sold. From a basic gameplay loop standpoint, Bonfire definitely has a lot going for it, but it remains to be seen, at least in the version that we played, how far this gameplay loop can go in terms of the playthrough that they're aiming at. Like we said, this is not built as a typical roguelike, where it's going to be a 40-minute to an hour-long playthrough. From what the game hints at, and especially the long-term goals, this can take several hours to play. And that may be a lot of time to spend with this kind of feedback loop. Now, the footage that we've seen so far paints a picture that this game can be on the easy side, but it definitely gets a little spiky in terms of its difficulty. Each enemy in the game has different roles that they fulfill similar to the players, as well as elite variants as well. And as with games of this kind, if your party doesn't have an answer for those roles, it can lead to a lot of trouble. This enemy right here that you're seeing has basically incredible amount of armor on it. And what that means is that my tank can't do anything about it. And her only role right now is to basically protect our spellcaster, or basically our cleric here, who does armor pen, as you can see right there. And this led to situations where combat either was very easy, or we were getting killed majorly by it. And like we said, with how the game works, everything basically builds off of or is persistent across your plays. One horrible match means that your people are going to be heavily wounded, which means you have to spend time healing. And then spending time healing means you're going to be running out of food. And if you run out of food, then you can't heal. And again, you can see how things can quickly escalate from there. Now, the items that you see at the bottom of the screen are definitely designed to be kind of your ace in the hole. They do special effects as well as kind of leading or balancing out the enemy's special abilities. Such as in this fight, you have an enemy who can actually knock out charges, while his little zombie friend with a wooden sword is taunting or providing shielding. And this can lead, again, to a lot of frustration with the game. During the playthrough, I was trying to explicitly cause a full-on game over, to see what kind of persistence or carryover effects Bonfire has, and we weren't really able to trigger it. It seems like the game keeps going until your entire party disbands, and that takes quite actually a lot of failing to get that to work. But like we've talked about, there's definitely a lot in terms of persistence, additional characters, services on the map, and things along those lines. And when we did play this game on stream, this was, I think, end of January, beginning of February. So chances are they've probably have had some bounce patches and things to go with it since this video was made. And as a quick correction, earlier I said that they gain resolve. It's actually motivation. That's the correct term. We did definitely run into a problem with food supplies, because since each character eats food, unless you're gaining at least 3 whatever, or like whatever kind of food you find per map, you're going to be reaching that deficit. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do in terms of balancing along those lines. With all that said, we're going to wrap up this first look here. I really like Bonfire, and there is definitely potential here of kind of giving more of a longer form nature to the roguelike gameplay. And I'll be curious to see what they're going to add or change throughout its early access period. I would like to thank the developers for giving me a press key to check this one out. And again, if you're interested in playing it, it is currently available with the early access builds. As always, whenever you play early access games, what you see may not represent the current version of it. With that said, thank you so much for watching this video. Come back for daily discussions on game design here and on game wisdom, where some of the art and science of games. Once again, this has been Bonfire, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed things, be sure to do all the liking and subscribing that the kids are doing these days. Check out our Discord channel link down below where we hang out and chat game design, and come back later tonight for our regular streamings. But that's it, and tune in for more great content here and on Game Wisdom, where we examine the art and science of games.